Okay, hello everyone. This video is about working with files and text basically. So we're going to start with mkdir-p. Um, so mkdir normally creates a directory, but including -p flag creates a full path even if the parent folders don't exist yet. So even if DevOps and logs don't exist yet, I can create nginx file without them creating yet because to create it at once instead of creating the folders one by one, dash p them does it all in one shot. So if we do mkdir devops logs nginx and do ls, you can see it here, it's created. If we now see it into the devops and do ls, you can see there ls, you can see the logs, we see it into the logs and do ls, we can see nginx. So that's all about mkdir-p. So let me go back to my desktop. So now we're going to talk about touch. What touch does, that it creates an empty file or updates the timestamp of an existing file. So it quickly creates a placeholder file without opening it in an editor. So I can, let's go to DevOps actually. Let's go to DevOps. Then let's do touch, let me say logs.tml or logs.txt, right? It's logs. Let's just use here app.log. Let's use that. So it creates this file apps.log without us putting it in a text editor. See it over here. So that's basically what touch does. It just creates a file without you opening it in a editor. So now we'll talk about CP. CP basically, when it copies a file, it's it always copies before editing a config on a server, right? So it's basically for copying a file. Um, we're going to talk about using CP to copy a file created on app.log. Let's do config. So create let's first create a let's create a if let's say config file for YAML, right? Just see, so let's see this. So now all we do, copy this config to YAML. You can use it to basically open into this folder. You just name the folder config dot YAML dot pak. Let's say pak is for backup because notables engineers always backup. So what this does that if this what it does that if this config dot YAML didn't exist before, it actually creates it and copy what is here, just gives it a different name when we names it. So if we do nano nano dot pk you see what we just did earlier. So now we're going to talk about, we're not going to dive too deep into copy boards. I know that it's just a brief walkthrough of managing files and text. So we're going to use copy dash Okay, wait, let's first create let's see ls. Let's first create another folder. Make that let's see main logs. No, you know what? Let's just use CP. So say CP dash dash R um dash R is uh let's see desktop slash DevOps slash logs. Copying this into the dash R basically copies the whole folder, right? Here you see we'll do the same, but you'll see logs uh logs dash let me back up. So what I did is that copied what was in the logs. Let's say logs ls copies what was in the logs and put it into this backup folder. So let's cd backup. You'll see basically what was in the logs that we copied, right? So well, let's go to env. Env moves or remains a file. So let's do ls. Let's do DevOps. Yes, again. Let's say we want to move this config. Or let's move this config back to logs. So let me see. I want to write everything again. I'm going to do this. Move is mv. Let's see mv config dot so we're basically moving it to logs folder. So let's see it into logs on ls. You can see that the config is there. And if we go back, if you go back and do ls, you see that config.yaml.back is no more there. Now let's make use of, let me talk about rm. Rm is basically what deletes files or folder. It's not like a recycle bin where you delete it and it's still be in the bin. You delete it forever. It's gone, it's gone. There's also the dash rf flag, which is powerful and dangerous. So you must always check before you delete what you want to do. So let's remove this app.log. Remove it to rf.rf. And let's remove config. This the rf is basically for that folder. Let's remove logs. Go to ls. ls is just the config that is left. So now let's go to more of reading files. We'll make use of cat. Cat is basically just dumps the entire file contents to a screen. It's best for majorly small files because if the file is long, cat will flood your terminal. So you should use it for maybe small files only. So we're going to use config.yaml to just display what's in the folder. So let's basically open the file in a scrollable viewer and use arrow keys to scroll, Q to quit, and slash to, let's say, to search. Hmm, Let me see. Let me do less slash VAI slash log slash V log. Hmm, let me just make use of the config file. YAML. Just add a few lines. Add in just a few lines. Maybe going to X and Y to the parent task. Let's use less config.yaml. So it's scrollable. Right now I'm scrolling through it. I can use X slash search for R. I see R. Just highlighted the R. Then you can use Q to quit. That's what I did. So now we're going to use head. So head shows only let me say the first amount of lines with file you want to see. If you just write head um, config config text YAML YAML config the YAML, you it just basically display the first 10 lines. Just displays the first 10 lines of the config file. But if you put dash n then the 20, displays the first 20 of it. It's useful when you want to check the format or the top of a log file, basically. So now we're going to talk about tail. Tail is head starts counting from the top, while tail is from the bottom. So if you use tail config or YAML shows the bottom of the config file. Then if we use it's the same with head, if you use dash n and 20 shows from the bottom up. So now let's talk about tail dash. It follows the file lines, keeping printing the new lines as they are written. This is basically how you view more logs. Is is basically going to be printing out the logs as they are being written, right? Going to print out the logs that are being written. Okay. So open another terminal here. So here's the tail dash f log. So now we're talking about tail dash f. It follows the file live. Like keeps printing out new, let's say, logs. This is how you usually how do you use mentor logs in real time. So what we basically do, we use tail dash f of our config file, right? So going to another terminal, then we do echo, we write into that file, echo to it Um, Anthony. This is Anthony. Anthony. So let's press enter. So if we go into this, see that it's printed out in lifetime. Cancel or to come out of it, just do Control C and clear. Then clear this also. Let's go back to this. So now we talk about basic searching, right? So you can search with grep. You can basically find any line containing that word. So let's say, for example, grep dash. Let's say Sam in that our folder. And let's say slash config dot YAML. So it prints out that line. Sam. Um, so now we can search for like we can use dash I, which is basically for case insensitive search. Alright, so let's test out. Let's do S. You want to be able to see anything come up because it's not case sensitive. It's case sensitive, sorry. So if you put a dash I on that, a dash I flag, it makes it insensitive to case. So so now let's talk about let's try dash N. Shows the line's number with results. Let's talk about dash N. Grep dash N. There are so many flags you can add to grep to basically bring out what you want. So we brought out this is a line for where yellow Sam is. So let's talk about dash R. That's a cursive through the let's talk about dash R. So it basically searches let's say through the entire folder. So it started from my user smart to the admin to the DevOps. So it basically searched folder wise till it found the file and the name and what we're looking for. Hello, it's Sam. Now let's talk about dash V. There's a script line and it shows everything that doesn't match. Okay, let's do dash V. So it showed everything that was in config.yaml, but it didn't show hello, it's Sam, which we imported earlier. So let's clear that. And now let's go to finding files using let's say using find. Let's say find let's see let's use etc. Finding files etc. We're going to be finding files with dots conf under etc folder. Okay. Star dot com say dash type f. So we actually didn't find any file under on any file with .conf. Let's find let's find if it will find the blog find anything. Let's see let's use this So now let's do the YAML. So it did found our config file under the YAML file. So now let's find all the log files modified under basically now see if I'll get it right. Log first name. You can edit it for to wherever I want it to be. Let's see, in time -1. So these are the basically the log file that were edited in the last modified in the last 24 hours. So now let's find files that are larger than 100 MB dash price plus 100 dash type f. These are basically all the files that are less than 100. So I'm just going to kill this. So grips looks inside files while find it files by name, type, age. They're basically two different tools for two different questions. I'm going to talk about the last step, step 5, which is piping with the symbol, right? So this symbol basically takes out the one command and passes it straight into the next, and you can chain as many as you want. So let's just use a very simple ideology. Let's use tail, tail, grip, and let's say grip, Sam. Let's say Anthony this time. So it just printed Anthony. So if I go over here now to do echo maybe Anthony, let's see Anthony is here. To grip it also. So we also gripped the Anthony. So that's how you combine two functions from one to another. Thank you.